Oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to Thinking Tuesday. You know, if it is noon on Tuesday, it's time for Thinking Tuesday, and it's just a few minutes on your Tuesday when I ask you to take some time to spend thinking about your mindset. What is my mindset? What kind of thoughts am I cultivating? Are they productive thoughts? Are they thoughts that help me to grow? Are they thoughts that challenge me in my current status quo? What kind of thoughts are we harboring? Because here on Thinking Tuesday, we talk about thoughts as your lifeline. How we think is how we are, and how we think determines who we are. So we try to cultivate a positive mindset. There's so much in the world today that can draw us into that negative way of thinking. And we have to continually resist that. We don't have to go with the crowd. You know, we don't have to subscribe to a herd mentality. We need to think individually. We need to harbor thoughts, we need to cultivate thoughts that are going to benefit us, that are going to drive us in the direction that we want to go, to live a positive, fulfilled life. So, our motto here on Thinking Tuesday is your mind is a garden, because it is, and your thoughts are the seeds, because they are. And you, yes, you can determine if you're going to grow flowers, which are those positive thoughts, or if you're going to grow weeds. And you don't want to grow weeds, because those weeds usually, if you think about your garden, and you don't have to be a gardener, but we know we see weeds all the time and they choke out all the beautiful flowers. In fact, we try to take them out, you know, because we don't want them choking out those positive thoughts as we look at weeds as negative thoughts. The flowers are the positive thoughts. So we want to encourage you on Thinking Tuesday to just examine your thoughts. We check in on ourselves physically, so why not mentally, right? Because our thoughts drive our feelings, and how we feel is how we're going to act. So you see the sequence. So we need to have healthy thoughts. We need to question the thoughts that we have. Where do they come from? We need to be curious. We need to be curious about what we're thinking. Last week, I told you about, I talked about, well, do we do things just because that's the way they've always been done? No, we need to be curious. We need to be curious about why we're thinking, why we've adopted some of the thoughts, some of the beliefs that we have adopted. Where do they come from? Are they leading us in the right way? So we need to develop a curious mind. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about the law of curiosity. So you might have heard me before say that when I was growing up, when I was a child, I was constantly asking why, and many times it got me into trouble because you don't question your parents. But I did give up, and it's no surprise that I'm in a profession where why has to be the word that I embrace. And I'm encouraging you to embrace that word why. It's a three-letter words, but very powerful, and it can help us to discover a lot about us, a lot of the people, about the people around us, our environment. Don't be afraid to ask why. Embrace a curiosity mindset. Don't let anyone talk you out of asking why. If you have a question, you ask, as long as you're asking it respectfully. You know, some people get bent out of shape just because you question what they're doing. That doesn't mean that you're disrespectful. But I want to share with you today about some information about why we should be curious, and how we can cultivate a curious mind. Now, first of all, we have to believe that we can be curious because we have a lot of self-limiting thoughts and beliefs that create barriers to our personal growth. If we don't ask why, we don't grow. If we don't have the answers, we can't grow. We don't know that we have choices. So you need to believe. We all need to believe that we can be and we should be curious, right? Because if we're not curious, it puts limits on our potential. And then we're unwilling to expand our beliefs and break new ground. That's what makes life more exciting. And the second thing in cultivating a curious mind, a curious mindset, is to maintain a beginner's mindset. You know, if you look at babies, and I always use that as an example, babies are curious. They're always dipping into things. We might say that they're mischievous, but they are curious. They want to know, they want to learn. So we also, not because we're adults, we should cultivate a beginner's mindset. Always be ready and willing to learn something new and not be afraid or ashamed because you don't know a particular thing. Because it's only by keeping an open mind, as we keep an open mind, we can absorb new information, we can absorb new experiences. Many times we don't want to say that we don't know something because we're so concerned with how other people are going to see us. Forget about other people. What other people think is not your business. So ask so that you can have answers and you can understand, you can raise your awareness, because those are the things that help us to grow. So cultivate a curious mindset. Don't be ashamed if you don't know it, because someone else doesn't know either. And if you ask, you'll be helping them as well, but you're asking mainly for yourself. Anytime you're around anyone who is answering more than asking questions, you can be sure that they have slowed down in their growth and they've lost the fire for personal growth. No one person has all the answers. Unfortunately, some people like to make you believe that they have all the answers. If they do, question if they're really growing. Okay. Another way to encourage yourself to develop a curiosity mindset in your personal growth is to make why your favorite word. Like I mentioned at the top of what I just started saying, I used to get in trouble because I question everything. Sometimes I question things that parents don't want you to question. You do this because I say, you know. But then we learn that as parents, that's not what we do. But many of our parents did what was done to them. And so I'm so happy that over the course of my life, even as I was growing up, my parents were able to acknowledge and accept that we would ask why. And so that's what I encourage all of the parents that I meet with to allow their children to ask why. It's better to ask your parents than to ask someone else who might give them the wrong answer. And many times the parents don't know. As parents, we don't know everything. So allow your children to ask mentors or people of integrity, not just to ask anyone, but you should encourage your children also to ask why. Explore, evaluate so that you can discover. And when you discover, you continue asking why, because you see the value of discovery. That's how we grow. So make why your favorite word. Keep asking why. Focus your questions, and those would allow you to be creative, to be more knowledgeable, to expand your mind, to expand your thinking, because this is what it's all about. Also, you want to spend time with people who are curious. If you spend most of your time or all of your time with people who have closed minds, you're not going to go far. So, to be curious doesn't mean that you're, well, you're inquisitive, yes, but in a good way. So, spend time with people who are inquisitive, who encourage you to be inquisitive, who you can learn from, because closed minds don't help you to grow. Unfortunately, many times, even in our current educational system, inquiry by students is not as encouraged as it should be. But fortunately, there are a lot of progressive teachers, educators now who encourage students to be inquisitive and ask why. That's how they learn. That's how they learn to use their minds also, and not just take in what's given without questioning it, especially if you don't understand it. So emphasize information or inquiry to get information. Another way to develop your curiosity, which will help you grow, is to commit to learning something new every day. There is so much for us to learn, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. I mean, I learned something last week that I shared with you when we were talking about the okra and why is it that they cut off the top of the okra. And the answer that I got at the time was because that's what we've always done. But then I researched it, I asked why, and I found out the reason why. It's because it is very, very bitter, and I promise you that I'm going to actually taste it for myself so I can tell you from my experience. But learn something new every day, whatever that thing is. Commit to learning something new every day. Meet someone new, experience something different, determined to learn something new daily. Because an attitude of openness to something new is going to take you far. Keep yourself open to new opportunities. New opportunities are always around, but because we have closed minds, many times we don't see the opportunities when they're right before us. So as you go through the day, reflect on what are you learning and how can you apply what you're learning? Because asking why is important also. But when you find out why, how are you applying what you learn or what you heard? Because that's how we really learn and that's how we really grow, when we apply the answers to what we ask. Then, I've said this many times, but it's worth repeating, embrace failure. Because as you know, failure is only determined by you. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are willing to open yourself to new experiences, asking why, finding out why, how things work. Why do I do the things that I do? We might try something and it doesn't work the way we expect it to work, but that doesn't mean that it's a failure. We want to ask, why did it not work? Or you might find out why it worked better than you thought it would work, right? Because that's how we discover new things as well. Something that we thought would be a failure may not necessarily be a failure because it taught us something new. It taught us a new way of going about something. So embrace failure. See it as a sign of progress, because unless we take action, unless we move, we don't progress. We can't find out things that we didn't know. We can't find new ways, right? So it's part of your curiosity journey to embrace failure. Make failure your friend, not an enemy. Only if it's going to hurt you and you keep doing the same thing over and over again and not getting new answers, then yes, you can consider that as failure. And many times we tend to look for, quote unquote, the right answer. The right answer really stagnates us. It's really stagnating because it does not allow us to explore. If we're looking for one particular action or one particular answer and we don't find that answer, then we keep looking. There's no one right answer as a solution for everything. So, single solution people are not giving themselves a chance to learn and grow. Single solution people use that as a way of not changing their mindset. So if you keep expecting the same thing and looking for the same answer and not getting it, and you don't move to question why or how, what's another way that I can try to accomplish this, then you don't grow. So keep asking if there's a better way to do some of the things that you're seeking to do, not what's the right way. What could be the right way today might not be the right day tomorrow. But just keep looking for a better way to do the things that you're looking to do. And then, I think this one is so, so important. We have to get over ourselves, right? Get over ourselves. Don't worry if the questions that we ask might sound foolish to other people. Get over yourself. Forget about what other people think, right? All of life is an experiment. And in experimentation, we have to ask why. We have to be researchers. We have to be scientists, right? By asking why. So get over yourself about how your question might sound to someone else, because what you are interested in may not be what someone else is interested in. Your dream will not be somebody else's dream. So the questions that you're asked are unique to your experience and the answers that you're looking for, the path that you're on. We're not all on the same path. So the more you experiment, the more you learn, right? And so get yourself out of those self-imposed boxes where we constrict ourselves because we're concerned with how other people are going to see us, what they're going to think about us. You know, that's none of our business. That's none of your business. And then the last thing I want to share with you is to enjoy life. Enjoy life by taking risks. Of course, that's part of being curious. Of course, you're not going to take risks that are dangerous. Depends on what you consider dangerous. But you have to be open. Again, it starts with being open. It starts with being inquisitive. You're going to take calculated risk. You might take risk a little bit more than you would normally take if whatever you're seeking is that important to you. Sometimes you might fail, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't take risk, because taking risk is part of being curious. You're never really failing unless you don't learn. When you take risk, you learn. So enjoy life by taking risk, learning something new every day. Adopt a mindset of curiosity. It will take you very, very far. So, as usual, I hope that this has added value to you. And if it has, please share it with someone who you feel could benefit from it. Because when we find something of value, we try to share it. So please visit previous messages on my YouTube channel, Thinking Tuesday, Cheryl Burton. You can also go to my website. I always encourage you to go to my website to see the programs and services that I offer. And if you don't find something that you're looking for there, please reach out to me. My contact information is on my website, drcherylburton.com. You can also request a confidential consultation if there's something on your mind that you need help through a thinking partner or just getting on the right track. But use the law of curiosity and check me out. Check out my website, see the programs and services that you might find interesting, or you might do that for someone else. You might want to refer someone else. And then, of course, you can also book me to speak through my website, drcherylburton.com. I enjoy speaking with you on Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday right here for Thinking Tuesday. Tomorrow is the 1st of March, and you know we celebrate Women's History Month. There is so much to celebrate for women's history. We've come a long way. So I'm going to date myself, but you might remember that commercial. We've come a long way, baby. And we've come a long way since that commercial, and we still have so much more to go. So I will be doing some spotlights, some social media posts in celebration of Women's Month, Women's History Month. And we have so much as women to be proud of. We have so much to offer our girls as they are growing. So there's lots to celebrate. I look forward to seeing you here next Tuesday. I hope you celebrate those women in your life, celebrate yourself as well. And let's enjoy the life that we have, and certainly design the lives that we're capable of living. So take care. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Bye for now. Take care. Bye-bye.